Zillow just quietly changed its housing forecast again. After months of cutting its outlook, the company now says U.S. home prices will rise 1.9% over the next year. It's not a boom, it's not a crash, it's a shrug. But for a housing market that's been all over the place, even a little stability feels like good news. Now, before we break down what that 1.9% really means and where home prices are actually going up or down, a quick reminder, if you don't track housing trends before they hit the headlines, check out Deal Watch, our free weekly newsletter. We cover the real data behind price shifts, investor moves, and the next housing hotspots before the rest of the internet catches on. Links down in the description below, completely free. All right, so here's the deal. Heading into 2025, Zillow thought that home prices would climb about 2.6%. Then the market cooled faster than expected, and by spring, they were predicting a drop of nearly 2%. Now they flipped back again, calling for a small rebound, up 1.9% between August 2025 and August 2026. In other words, the market isn't falling anymore, but it's not exactly thriving either. Think of it like a car that's finally idling after years of flooring the gas and slamming on the brakes. Now, this isn't a one-size-fits-all. Zillow forecast covers 400 markets, and some of them are heading in very different directions. Let's start with the winners. Zillow expects the biggest jumps in Atlantic City, Rockford, Knoxville, and Concord, all in the 5% range. You'll also see solid gains in places like Hilton Head, Hartford, and Kingston, New York. What do all these places have in common? They're smaller, more affordable metros that didn't overheat during the pandemic and still have tight inventory. Now for the losers. Zillow sees the steepest drops coming in Louisiana and Texas, especially Yuma, down 7.4%, Lake Charles and Lafayette. Even Austin, Texas, and San Francisco, two of the pandemic's hottest markets, are expected to dip again roughly 2%. And it's probably because a bunch of people from San Francisco moved to Austin during the pandemic, found out how hot it was, and now are moving back to San Francisco. Whilst California is experiencing an exodus of its own, still continually for years and years and years. So what's driving the split between the winners and losers? It's simple: supply and affordability. In the South and Sun Belt, new construction exploded over the last few years. Builders went wild, and now buyers finally have options and leverage. Zillow says 15 of the 50 largest metros are now buyers' markets, up from just 6 last year. Meanwhile, places like Buffalo, Hartford, and San Francisco are still sellers' markets, mostly because you can't build new homes there. Not easily, anyway. Land use restrictions keep inventory tight, so prices hold up. That's your first takeaway. 2026 will be all about local splits. Boomlets in some regions, soft landings in others. The second takeaway, this isn't a demand-driven rebound, it's a supply freeze. Most homeowners are still sitting on 3% mortgages and refusing to sell. That keeps listings scarce, which props up prices even when fewer people can afford to buy. Zillow's 1.9% forecast might sound like optimism, but it's really just stasis. A market stuck between too expensive to buy and too cheap to sell. So what should you do with that information? If you're an investor, this is where selectivity wins. Forget chasing national trends, focus on markets that didn't overbuild and still have job growth. If you're a buyer, patience is finally paying off. All those new construction heavy metros, builders are starting to offer incentives again. And if you're a seller, be realistic. Price cuts are becoming normal again in many regions, and the bidding wars of 2021 aren't coming back anytime soon. Zillow's cautious 1.9% call isn't a sign of strength, it's a sign of balance, maybe even the start of a true reset phase. And that's not bad news. After years of chaos, a flat market gives buyers a chance to breathe and investors a chance to spot opportunities. We'll be tracking all those shifts every week in Deal Watch, from metros showing quiet early growth to the ones that might be sliding under the radar. It's free, and you can sign up using the link in the description. So what do you think? Is Zillow right that we're finally stabilizing, or is this just another calm before the storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you're seeing your local market heat up or cool down. As always, you guys, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next housing shift or the next drama-filled story from Zillow or Realtor or Matterport. Pick your poison. Let's go. Because this market isn't crashing, it's recalibrating, and knowing where the balance lands could make all the difference in your future decisions. See you on the next one. Bye!